We're live now. All right, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
I'm going to go ahead and get ready to bring it up. First, I'm going to go into some global updates on what's happening around the world. So we're going to go around the world in about 2 minutes and get a quick snapshot of what's happening, significant events as it pertains to Bible prophecy. Before we get started, all praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Rakak Kadash. Double honor and respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Much respect and honor to the brothers doing the work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and freedom to do so, pushing this gospel throughout the four corners of the earth. Salutations to the hopeful elect that is scattered abroad. Much love and respect to the beloved brothers of the hopeful elect of the house of Israel. Much love and respect to the beloved ladies of the hopeful elect of the house of David. Shalom and Barak Thumb. We're going to go ahead and bring it out. And today, we're going to do something a little differently. We had Brother Zahar, Yahweh to join us. And Shalom. So we've been doing a duo tag team together. So today, I'm going to look for you brothers' scriptures on the comment board. Now I want to talk about briefly what's happening around the world. One of the major crisis events that's occurring right now, Russia is threatening to cut off its energy supply to Europe. Now what's the big so what? The European Union and its NATO allies to America are 30% dependent on Russian energy and electricity and power. They've shut down some of their nuclear power plants. So Russia provides about a third of Europe's energy supply. Russia is also called the gas station of the world. So about 50% of their economy is contingent upon petroleum and oil sales. So they're going to help to cripple the European Union economy over there. So the Lord is setting the stage for war. America recently sent another $1.5 trillion in military aid and support to Taiwan, which is creating more tension, more friction in Far East Asia with China. So China is posturing itself to attack Taiwan, a key major ally in Asia. That's going to bring Japan into the war, and another ally of America, the Philippines. You see, Laos is joining alongside China, along with India. So we're going to see war brew up in the Pacific, Far East Asia. Also, the wheat supply is being significantly degraded because of the war between Russia and the Ukraine. So this is a global accordion effect that's going to affect all of us. 200 nations are ditching the U.S. petrodollar. So the American reserve currency, which still is a failing global currency, is declining. So the world is switching over to a digital currency, which is going to set the groundwork or set the conditions to transition over to a new global digital monetary system. I'm going to go ahead and bring it out. Ye are of your father, the devil. So when you go into that word devil, it comes from the Greek, diabolos, which means slanderer, false accuser, deceiver. So the devil is a man that plays the role of an adversary to the Most High. We're going to go ahead and bring it out. I'm going to be monitoring the comment board more heavy today. Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father he will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, for the forefather of death, murder, lies, deception is Cain, which pushed the serpent's agenda. Shalom Barakatham to the beloved of the house of David. Let's go.
John Hyrcanus the first.
One moment. Let's go here first, bro. I'm gonna check the comment board. All right, one moment. Comment board. My voice is rough. You gotta bear with me today. Shalom, beloved. The beloved elder Manatazat out of South Carolina. Shalom, Malak, Barakatah. Brother Gabar Dama. Izadai Yasharala. The beloved Malak. GMS Amath, your ice from Yahweh. The beloved brother David, Israel Biblical Jew. Iraf Banaf of Zion. Beloved sisters. Shalom. Barakatham. Let's go. We're going to start here first. In the book of John. The book of John, chapter 8. I'm going to read 44, and then we're going to go back to you. We're going to start at 34. The book of John, chapter 8, verse 34. Let's go to 33. John 8, verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. They answered him, we be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou, ye shall be made free? Yahushua answered them, verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. So that devil is Esau Edom, that man of sin, the son of perdition, pursuant to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8. You see? So we're going to go into the history. We're going to go into the history behind what this means. We're getting ready to go into the history. And then we're going to come back to John 8 and 34. So during that time of Yahushua, it was primarily Israelites that comprised the Sadducees and Pharisees. But guess what? There were sprinkles of Edomites in there that started back under John Hyrcanus II. John Hyrcanus II began to make alliances with Ptolemy, with the Romans, Edomites. So over time, sprinkles of Edomites begin to fill those ranks as well. We're going to go into the history. Let's go here to John Hyrcanus I. We're going to start there. John Hyrcanus I.
John Hyrcanus I, born 175 BC, died 104 BC. High priest and ruler of the Jewish nation from 135 to 104 BC. Under his reign, the Hasmonean kingdom of Judea in ancient Palestine attained power and great prosperity. And the Pharisees, a scholarly sect with popular backing, and the Sadducees, an aristocratic sect that comprised the priesthood, became well-defined religious parties.
Now, John Hyrcanus I was not a brown nose, was not a simp. He used a hardline approach at the conquering the surrounding territories in and around Judea and around Israel. So he did not compromise his rule and authority. Let's go.
Hyrcanus was the youngest son of Simon Maccabeus, and thus a member of the Hasmonean dynasty, so called after an ancestor named Hasmoneus. In 137 BC, he and his brother Judas commanded the force that heroically repelled the invasion of Judea led by Sendibus, the general of the Syrian king Antiochus VII. In 135, Hyrcanus' brother-in-law, Ptolemy, the governor of Jericho, assassinated Hyrcanus' father and two elder brothers. Hyrcanus then succeeded to the high priesthood and the supreme authority in Judea. The remainder of Hyrcanus' reign was marked by his efforts to punish his enemies, ward off the Syrians, and enlarge Judea's boundaries.
See? So these are the Maccabean wars that we can read about in 1st and 2nd Maccabees. And we're going to touch up on some of that today. So under Hyrcanus I, he was able to expand the Judean strength, our strongholds, fighting off the Syrians, one of our enemies, and also the Greeks. Let's go.
Although he struggled in vain to destroy Ptolemy, he successfully thwarted Syrian incursions by alliance with Rome and conquered the unfriendly neighboring territories of Samaria and Idumea, Edom.
Let me qualify that. There was Edomites fighting alongside Israelites. I want to make that clear. I know it's hard to believe, but there was Edomites in that territory that were underneath us. So they just looked upon outsiders as invading their territories. So they would fight underneath the Israelites during that time. Let's read that last sentence again, please.
Hyrcanus' reign was marked by his efforts to punish his enemies, ward off the Syrians, and enlarge Judea's boundaries.
Enlarge Judea's boundaries. So we were kicking butt back then. Let's go.
Although he struggled in vain to destroy Ptolemy, he successfully thwarted Syrian incursions by alliance with Rome and conquered the unfriendly neighboring territories of Samaria and Idumea, Edom.
See, Edom and Idumea was subdued underneath Judea, under Hyrcanus I. See? So we had Edomites underneath us, and we subdued the Syrians. Come on. Also Samaria. Samaria came underneath the jurisdiction and authority. Come on.
He forced Idumea to convert to Judaism.
He did what?
Forced Idumea to convert to Judaism.
So the Edomites were forced to convert to Judaism. They're not the bloodline Jews of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They were subdued. Come on.
The first example of conversion imposed by the Jews in their history. Upon his death, Hyrcanus was succeeded by his eldest son, Aristobulus.
Now keep in mind, this forced conversion occurred around 135 BC. So these Edomites were forced to follow our ways and worship the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, around 135 BC. Let's read that last sentence again. Let's go back to the forced Idumeans.
He forced Idumea to convert to Judaism, the first example of conversion imposed by the Jews in their history. Upon his death, Hyrcanus was succeeded by his eldest son, Aristobulus. The first. Hyrcanus' reign was the last under the Judea was a powerful United States.
So under Hyrcanus I, that was the last rule in which Judea was a powerful state under the Israelites around 135 BC. Now we're going to transition to a change in rulers. Under Hyrcanus II, he would begin to compromise and to be used and manipulated by Ptolemy. Let's go to John Hyrcanus II.
John Hyrcanus II, died 30 BC, Jerusalem, high priest of Judea from 76 to 40 BC. And with his brother, Aristobulus II.
Aristobulus II, come on.
Aristobulus II, last of the Maccabees, Hasmonean.
Last of the what?
Maccabees, Hasmonean.
The last of the Maccabean Hasmoneans. That last dynasty where the Israelites were in rulership under Judea. But we're going to begin to break and fracture because of that sellout, John Hyrcanus II. Let's read that again and continue.
John Hyrcanus II, died 30 BC, Jerusalem, high priest of Judea from 76 to 40 BC, and with his brother, Aristobulus II, last of the Maccabean, Hasmonean dynasty rulers under Hyrcanus' vacillating leadership. Judea, southern of the three traditional divisions of ancient Palestine, today mostly in Israel, fell into vassalage to Rome.
Yup, became a vassal state under Rome. So John Hyrcanus II began to lie in bed with the Romans and make political and economic and military alliances with them. Somebody post, never trust thine enemy. Let's get that. Somebody can post that, please. You're gonna get never trust thine enemy. I'm gonna go back to the comment board. All right, let's get this first. The Gospel of North Carolina. Proverbs 11, verse 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. Beautiful. So the wicked are the Edomites, Romans that absorbed the Greeks under them. The Greco-Roman Empire. Let me get this one. Brother GMS soldiers for the Most High, 144. Shalom, beloved, Barakatah. Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Beautiful. All right, let's go back. Finish off that. All right, let's go back to that. Yes. Right where you guys finish.
John.
Right, we're going to go to that last sentence right there.
Under Hyrcanus' vacillating leadership, Judea, southern of the three traditional divisions of ancient Palestine, today mostly in Israel, fell into vassalage to Rome.
Begin to fall as a vassal state under Rome. Just like the United States have vassals underneath them, or commonwealths, like Puerto Rico, Hawaii. See, U.S. territories. But under the Israelites, under John Hyrcanus I, we dominated Palestine, Israel, Jerusalem, and Idumea. But John Hyrcanus II, we're going to see that we're going to begin to fall away again. Let's go there.
When his father Alexander Jannaeus died in 76, Hyrcanus was appointed high priest, and on his mother's death, In 67, he assumed the rulership of Judea. After a troubling reign of 3 months, his warlike brother Aristobulus drove him from power.
So his brother Aristobulus and John Hyrcanus II began to split and fight against themselves. So what do you think the devil did? The Romans. They sided with the sellout, John Hyrcanus II, and formed an alliance with him. Come on.
Hyrcanus sought counsel from Antipater.
Hyrcanus sought counsel from who?
Antipater.
Read that one statement again.
Hyrcanus sought counsel from Antipater.
So Hyrcanus II is seeking counsel from the Romans, Antipater, Idumea, Edomites, the father of Herod. Come on.
Satrap of Idumea.
See? Come on.
A neighboring province conquered by Hyrcanus' grandfather, John Hyrcanus I.
So now he's compromising the territories that his father fought to obtain. John Hyrcanus I. Come on.
Who seeing in a weak-willed Hyrcanus a possible tool for his own desire to control Judea, induced him to wage war on Aristobulus. After a brutal struggle, the two brothers appealed to the great Roman general Pompey.
Appealed to who?
Pompey.
Appealed to the great Roman general Pompey. So Hyrcanus is in bed with the serpent, Rome. Come on.
Once more, after a brutal struggle, the two brothers appealed to the great Roman general Pompey to be their arbiter. Pompey, also seeing in Hyrcanus a means of controlling Judea, restored him to the high priesthood and some semblance of civil authority.
See? So now his power is being backed by Rome. Read that last statement again, please.
After a brutal struggle, the two brothers appealed to the great Roman general Pompey to be their arbiter. Pompey, also seeing in Hyrcanus a means of controlling Judea, restoring him to the high priesthood and some semblance of civil authority.
So they begin to use Hyrcanus II as a lever to leverage control over the Judean province. See? Come on.
During the rest of his life, Hyrcanus II was manipulated by those who wished to use him. He was deprived of his office by the military commander, proconsul Aulus Gabinus. He was restored to it again by Julius Caesar.
See that? Restored by Julius Caesar. So what do we begin to see unravel, develop? Rome is beginning to manipulate the office of the priesthood through a lever, John Hyrcanus II. Read that last part about Julius Caesar again, please. Julius Caesar.
Again, by Julius Caesar as a reward.
Oh, you good, bro. You got that last sentence.
It's a lot. Again, by Julius Caesar as a reward by Hyrcanus' support after Caesar had defeated Pompey at the battle of Pharsalus. And then in 42, he was rendered powerless by Mark Antony's appointment of Antipater's two sons, Herod and Phasael.
This is important. Herod is on the scene now. Backed by who? Mark Antony and Julius Caesar. See? Now King Herod is on the scene as a young man. We're seeing the Edomites begin to establish a foothold and manipulate the priesthood of the Pharisees and Sadducees under Hyrcanus II. Come on.
Once more, and then in 42, he was rendered powerless by Mark Antony's appointment of Antipater's two sons, Herod and Phasael.
Antipater's two sons, Herod and Phasael. Come on.
As tetrarchs, rulers of Judea. In 40, the invading Parthians, at the instigation of Hyrcanus, ambitious nephew Antigonus, cut off Hyrcanus' ears in order to disqualify him for the priesthood. In 36, after a forced sojourn in Babylon, Hyrcanus was allowed by Herod to return to Jerusalem. 6 years later, Herod wishing to end any threat of popular support for Hyrcanus had him executed.
So after Hyrcanus II collaborated with the Romans and worked with them, they executed him. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Now Herod is on the scene. Come on.
Herod, by name Herod the Great.
Who?
Herod the Great.
Come on.
Latin, Herodes Magnus, born 73 BCE, died March/April 4 BCE, Jericho, Judea.
So this is the Herod that would kill several thousand Israelite young babies, toddlers, when King Yahushua was born around 3 BC. This devil Herod was slaughtering toddlers and infants, trying to kill baby Yahushua. Where's that at? That's in Matthew chapter 2. Come on.
Roman appointed king of Judea.
Who?
Roman appointed king of Judea.
Roman appointed king of Judea. So the Romans are establishing their foothold. Come on.
Once more, Roman appointed king of Judea, 37-4 BCE, who built many fortresses, aqueducts, theaters, and other public buildings, and generally raised the prosperity of his land, but who was the center of political and family intrigues in his later years. The New Testament portrays him as a tyrant, into whose kingdom of Yahushua of Nazareth was born.
I told you. So under this Herod, baby Yahushua comes on the scene somewhere around 3 BC. And he goes to his sorcerers. I'm going to read that. He goes to the wise men. Let's go here. Matthew chapter 2, verse 1. Now, when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. So they saw his sign, a bright and morning star, a chariot, and they really, under King Herod killed baby Yahushua. So we went to sorcerers, wise men, so they know the prophecies. Come on.
Herod was born in southern Palestine. His father, Antipater, was an Edomite, a Semitic people identified by some scholars as...
One moment. His father was an I thought the Edomites were done away with. Vocab Malone. Let's read about that Antipater again.
Herod was born in southern Palestine. His father, Antipater, was an Edomite.
Come on.
A Semitic people identified by some scholars as Arab, who converted to Judaism.
Now, they're not Arab. He was born in that area, around southwestern Jordan. But he's not Arab of the Nabateans. That's where the scholars go off. They're going to try to say that Nabateans are, or they're going to try to say the Edomites are Arab because they were born in that area of the Nabateans. Edomites reigned in that area. The Edomite men went into the women of Canaan. So you are what your father is. Read that part again, please.
His father, Antipater, was an Edomite, a Semitic people identified by some scholars as Arab, who converted to Judaism in the 2nd century BCE.
They're Edomites that converted to Judaism. They're not Arabs. That's a lie. They just lived in that area. Watch this. I'm going to go to Genesis 28. See? Genesis 28, verse 7, verse 6. When Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Paddan to take him a wife from thence, and that as he blessed him, he gave him charge, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob obeyed his father and mother and was gone to Paddan. And Esau, watch this, Genesis 28, verse 9. Then went Esau unto Ishmael and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, and sister of Nebaioth, to be his wife. So the Edomites populated the Middle East, the lands of Arabia, with their seed. They're not Arabs, they're Edomites. You are what your father is. Let me go here. Numbers 1. Numbers 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the 2nd month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward by their poles. So you are what your father is. Come on, let's go back to the Antipater.
Antipater was a man of great influence and wealth, who increased both by marrying the daughter of a noble from Petra in southwestern Jordan. At that time, the capital of the rising Arab Nabatean kingdom. Thus, Herod was an Arab.
See, Herod is not an Arab. That's where the scholars are going off. Come on.
He's a Dumian, born against Arab.
See how they contradicted themselves? First they said he's an Arab, then they turned around and said he's Idumean. That's two different nationalities. I'm gonna prove it. Watch this. Here's a cut in case you come across a devil. Let's let this big ass train go by. I'm going to show you today. The Arabs are not the Edomites. Two separate nations. Jeremiah 25, verse 20. And all the mingled people and all the kings of the land of Uz and all the kings of the land of the Philistines and Ashkelon and Azar and Ekron and the remnant of Ashdod. Watch this. Jeremiah 25, verse 21. Edom and Moab and the children of Ammon. That's Edom. Now let's jump down to verse 24. And all the kings of Arabia and all the kings of the mingled people that dwell in the desert. Two separate nations. We just read it. I'm going to read it again. Jeremiah 25, verse 20. And all the mingled people, and all the kings of the land of Uz, and all the kings of the land of the Philistines, and Ashkelon, and Azar, and Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod, Edom, and Moab, and the children of Ammon. Edom, Moab, and Ammon. Now let's jump down to verse 24. And all the kings of Arabia, two separate people, and all the kings of the mingled people that dwell in the desert, the Middle East, which includes some of those descendants of Mizraim, okay, the Philistines. Now, what does Arab mean? Mixed. So these sons, most of them go back to Ishmael, but you do have some that go back to Ham. Come on.
Once more.
Oh, wait a minute. And the Edomites spread their seed in that area as well. We just read it. Separate nations going back to Ishmael, Edom, Ham. So that area of Arabs, Arab means mixed. But the Edomites maintain their bloodline through their kings, their rulers. Come on.
Once more, Antipater was a man of great influence and wealth who increased both by marrying the daughter of the noble from Petra in southwestern Jordan. At that time, the capital of the rising Arab, Nabatean kingdom. Thus, Herod was an Arab. He's a Idumean born amongst Arabs.
He's a Idumean born amongst Arabs. That's right. Come on.
Although he was a practicing Jew.
See, he converted to Judaism. A practicing Jew. Those are the people today over there. So they were beginning to sprinkle themselves amongst the scribes, Pharisees, and Sadducees. Come on.
Once more, although he was a practicing Jew, Jewish convert. When Pompey, 106 to 48 BCE, invaded Palestine in 63 BCE, Antipater supported his campaign and began a long association with Rome, from which both he and Herod were to be benefited. 6 years later, Herod met Mark Antony, whose lifelong friend he was to remain. Julius Caesar also favored the family. He appointed Antipater procurator of Judea in 47 BCE and conferred on him Roman citizenship, an honor that descended to Herod and his children. Herod made a political debut in the same year.
See? So what are we seeing here? That area of Judea, they assassinated our man, an Israelite, John Hyrcanus II, who deviated from the policies of his father, John Hyrcanus I, not to compromise with these devils. They assassinated him and began to put their people in position. Now, don't get me wrong, the Israelites are still predominantly comprised in the Sadducees and Pharisees sect, but there are sprinkles that Herod would begin to put in there, backed by Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. Come on.
Once more, Herod made his political debut in the same year, when his father appointed him governor of Galilee.
When his father did what?
Appointed him governor of Galilee.
See? So King Herod is the man now, ruling over Israelites in Judea. An Edomite, whose father is Antipater. Come on.
6 years later, Mark Antony made him tetrarch of Galilee. In 40 to flee to Rome. The Senate there nominated him king of Judea and equipped him with an army to make good his claim. In the year 37 BCE, at the age of 36, Herod became the unchallenged ruler of Judea, a position he was to maintain for 32 years. To further solidify his power, he divorced his first wife, Doris, sent her and his son away from court, and married Mariamne. So they were marrying the noble women of the Hasmonean dynasty. And then they were calling themselves us, converting over to Judaism. So these are
Israelite women they're married into. But he's still not going to be accepted by Israelites that still knows he's the devil. Read that part again about his wife.
Once more, to further solidify his power, he divorced his first wife Doris, sent her and his son away from court, and married Mariamne, a Hasmonean princess. Although the union was directed at ending his feud with the Hasmoneans, a priestly family of Jewish leaders, he was deeply in love with Mariamne. During the conflict between the two triumvirs, Octavian and Anthony, the heirs of Caesar's power, Herod supported his friend Anthony. He continued to do so even when Anthony's mistress, Cleopatra, the queen of Egypt, used her influence with Anthony to gain much of Herod's best land.
Now Cleopatra, her bloodline goes back to the Greeks, the 4 generals of Ptolemy, the Ptolemy bloodline. So these are Edomites in position. That land has been conquered and originally subdued under Alexander the Greek, followed by his 4 generals. Now that area of what we call the Middle East today and Egypt, the Ptolemaic dynasty, and northeast of them, the Seleucid dynasty. But these Edomites and the generals of Alexander the Greek would begin to fight against each other. Come on.
Once more, he continued to do so even when Anthony's mistress, Cleopatra, the queen of Egypt, used her influence with Anthony to gain much of Herod's best land. After Anthony's final defeat at Actium in 31 BCE, he frankly confessed to the victorious Octavian which side he had taken. Octavian, who had met Herod in Rome, knew that he was the one man to rule Palestine as Rome wanted. It ruled and confirmed him king. He also restored Herod the land Cleopatra had taken.
So what the Edomites begin to do, they begin to manipulate the office of the priesthood. They had installed puppets, not only of the Israelites that comprised the Sadducees and Pharisees, but they would begin to sprinkle in Edomites that were trying to take on these roles, still under or giving the appearance as being under Israelite Sadducees, scribes, and Pharisees, but yet they were supporting Rome. Their loyalty was to Caesar. Matter of fact, let me go here. I'm going to go to John 11. John 11. So you got sellout Israelites amongst the scribes, Pharisees, and Sadducees. Not all of the scribes, Pharisees, and Sadducees were wicked. A small sect of them believed on the Messiah, but the majority of them were in bed with the Romans. John 11. The book of John, chapter 11, go to verse 44. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound about with a napkin. Yahushua saith unto them, loose him and let him go. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahushua did believed on him. So there's a false doctrine that all the Israelites and Jews rejected the Messiah. That's a cut right there to that lie. That's a cut. Many of the Jews believed on him, including a small fragment of scribes, Pharisees, and Sadducees. John 11, verse 46. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what Yahushua things he had done. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahushua had done. Then gathered the chief priests and Pharisees a council and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. So you had those loyal to Rome getting nervous because the Messiah was doing great signs and wonders. So they're getting scared, just like the global elites today and the pastors and churches underneath them. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. The Romans are going to decommission us, take away our positions. That's the wicked sect of scribes, Sadducees, and Pharisees that are in bed with Rome. Come on.
Herod became the close friend of Augustus' great minister, Marcus Agrippa, after whom one of his grandsons and one of his great-grandsons were named. Both the emperor and the minister paid him state visits, and Herod twice again visited Italy. Augusta gave him the oversight of the Cyprus copper mines.
And one of his great-grandsons. See? So Paul would wind up standing before Agrippa. One of the descendants of this bloodline, Marcus Agrippa.
Once more, Augustus gave him the oversight of the Cyprus copper mines with a half share in the profits. He twice increased Herod's territory in the year 22.
Don't let the train go by. Okay, read that part about Agrippa again, please.
Herod became the close friend of Augustus' great minister Marcus Agrippa, after whom one of his grandsons and one of his great-grandsons were named. Both the emperor and the minister paid him state visits, and Herod twice again visited Italy. Augusta gave him the oversight of the Cyprus copper mines, with a half share in the profits. He twice increased Herod's territory in the year 22 and 20 BCE, so that it came to include not only Palestine, but parts of what are now the kingdom of Jordan, to the east of the river, southern Lebanon, and Syria.
See, so the Edomites are putting their bloodline in Jordan, Syria, Palestine, Israel, and they're also sprinkling in fake priests, their boys, so to speak, their brothers, that are not us. Come on.
He had intended to bestow the Nabatean kingdom on Herod as well, but by the time that throne fell vacant, Herod's mental and physical deterioration made it impossible.
See, and I stand corrected. Paul did stand before that Agrippa. And if I'm wrong, I'll do a correction video. But Paul had to stand before Agrippa. If I'm not mistaken, that's Acts 26. Now, we need to go to John 8 and 34. So what are we seeing? Romans, the serpent, beginning to slither and move, beginning to take down the priesthood, converting over to Judaism under John Hyrcanus I, manipulating John Hyrcanus II, and then they assassinated him, and then they begin to finagle their way into the offices and install what? Puppet Israelite scribes, Pharisees, and Sadducees. Puppets, sellouts that were concerned of the Romans taking away their positions. They were living fat off the hog, so to speak, and they were scared of the Romans. Now let's go to John 8 and 34.
John chapter 8, 34. And it reads, Yahweh shall answer them, Verily, verily, I say unto you.
Verily, verily means truly, truly.
Once more, Yahweh shall answer them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin.
Whosoever committeth sin is a servant of sin. Yahweh is rebuking the wicked sect that sold out to that man of sin. Romans, Esau. Matter of fact, this is a good scripture. Brother King Eliah, Ezra's Maccabees. 1 Maccabees 8, verse 29. According to these articles, did the Romans make a covenant with the people of the Jews. See that? So Judea is in bed with Rome. Many of our Judite women were even sleeping with these devils. 1 Maccabees 8 and 29. According to these articles, did the Romans make a covenant with the people of the Jews. 1 Maccabees 5 and 3. But under John Hyrcanus and Judas Maccabees, they fought against the Edomites under John Hyrcanus I, and they maintained their integrity. Same brother, King Eliah, Ezra's Maccabees. 1 Maccabees 5, verse 3. Then Judas fought against the children of Esau in Idumea at Arabteam, because they besieged Gael, and he gave them a great overflow and abated their courage and took their spoil. Matter of fact, let's go to first. I'm going to go to 1 Maccabees 1. 1 Maccabees 1. The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 8. And his servants bear rule, every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. The 4 Grecian generals under Alexander the Great, Lysimachus, Seleucus, Ptolemy, Cassander, Lysimachus, Ptolemy, Cassander, and Seleucus. See? And Antiochus, that bloodline would come out of Seleucus. They would eventually take the area north of Egypt, the northeastern region. Now let's go to verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. This is why they took out the Apocrypha. It shows a 400-year timeline. There's a 400-year gap, a timeline under the Greeks and eventually the Romans. would take over around 120 BC, somewhere in there. Here's the key point. Here's the key point. First Maccabees 1, verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So these Israelites were following the ways of John Hyrcanus II, compromising, being joined unto the wicked, the Greeks, and eventually the Romans. Let me get one more. First Maccabees 1, verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Sound familiar? The United States of America. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. These are the same people, Edomites, from the Greco-Roman Empire. Let me read that again. First Maccabees 1, verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and every one should leave his laws, so all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. That's the wicked sect that's being developed of scribes, Sadducees, and Pharisees. Under John Hyrcanus II, he would push that agenda. And these remnants or sprinkles of these Edomites had infiltrated the leadership and authority of Israel. Come on.
John chapter 8, verse 35. And it reads, and the servant abideth not in the house forever, but the Son abideth ever. Verse 36. If the Son therefore should make you free, you should be free indeed. Verse 37. And it reads, I know that ye are Abraham's seed, but ye seek to kill me, because my word have no place in you. Verse 38.
Why did they want to kill him? Because of the miracles he was doing. We read that in John chapter 11, verse 49 on down. They said many will believe on him if he keeps doing this. And the Romans will take away our position. So they did not really have faith in the Son. Now some of them knew he was the Messiah, but they were afraid of their losing their jobs, their monetary status. Come on.
John chapter 8, verse 38, and it reads, I speak that which I have seen with my Father, and ye do that which ye have seen with your father. Verse 39, and it reads, they answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. Yahushua said unto them, if you were Abraham's children, ye would do the works of Abraham.
What is he telling them? They're serving that man of sin. Rome, Esau, Edom. And their forefather is Cain. Come on.
John chapter 8, verse 40, and it reads, but now you seek to kill me, a man that have told you the truth, which I have heard of God our power. This did not Abraham. Verse 41, ye do the deeds of your father. Then said they to him, we be not born of fornication. We have one Father, even God our power. Yahushua said unto them, if God were your Father, you would love me, For I proceeded forth and came from God, neither came I of myself, but he sent me.
So the chosen elect can receive the Messiah, the Hamashiach, the anointed one. But you have a segment of Israel that reject him, of scribes, Pharisees, and Sadducees. And there's a big misconception that all the scribes, Sadducees, and Pharisees are wicked. That's not true. Let me go here. I'm going to go to, one moment, John 8 and 30. As he spake these words, many believed on him. Then said Yahushua to those Jews which believe on him, if ye continue in my word, then ye are my disciples indeed. There's another one I want to get. So you have a remnant of Israel that believe. Let me get one more. Acts 15. I gotta find it. Right here. Acts 15, verse 4. This is a cut to anybody that says all the Pharisees and scribes and Sadducees were wicked. That's not true. Acts 15, verse 4. And when they were come to Jerusalem, they were received of the church and of the apostles and elders, and they declared all things that God had done with them. But there rose up certain of the sect of Pharisees which believed, saying that it was needful to circumcise them and to command them to keep the law of Moses. Pharisees that believe, Acts 15 and 5. So we got to stop listening to these fake churches out there, harlot houses. Like where you left off, bro.
John chapter 8, verse 43, and it reads, why do ye not understand my speech? Even because you cannot hear my word? Verse 44, ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him.
Now who is he talking about? That father. Now in the physical sense, he's talking about Esau, which is Rome, which is Edom. Who else? Go to Genesis 4. Genesis chapter 4. We'll go to the beginning. So he's accusing them, rightfully so, of serving that man of sin, the son of perdition. So there's a physical rebel or son of destruction, and then there's a spiritual entity of Satan, but he's calling them the devil, which is a murderer, a liar. What does that word devil mean? It comes from the Greek, diablos, murderer, liar, deceiver, false accuser. Now in the physical form, it's Esau, that man of sin, the son of perdition. Well, we're going to go back to the beginning. Genesis 4. Let's go to verse 4.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 4, and it reads, and Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof.
Salakia. Now these spirits getting revved up. These spirits getting revved up out here. I'm going to go to Genesis 4 and 3.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 3. reads, and in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground and offering unto the Lord Yahweh. Verse 4, and Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of his fat thereof. And the Lord Yahweh had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
So Abel would go get reincarnated back through Seth and through Jacob. That righteous bloodline would be preserved through Seth and would come back as Jacob. Esau, his spirit goes back to Cain. So they are a rejected people. They're not making righteous offerings or sacrifices unto the Most High. Come on.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 5, and it reads, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
Remember, Esau lifted up his voice and wept because he found out he's not accepted. His offerings are rejects. His lifestyle is a reject. Who's pushing the Rainbow Coalition agenda? Who's making moles legal? Who's making it legal to kill babies? Poison fruits and vegetables through GMOs, Monsantos. Who's telling you the laws, statutes, and commandments are done away with? So they are giving unfruitful offerings. Their offerings are rotten, defects, spoiled, toxic. That's the understanding. Come on.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 6, and it reads,
What was 5? Let's go back to 5.
Salaki. Genesis chapter 4, once more, verse 5, and it reads, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Verse 6, and the Lord Yahweh said unto Cain, why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? Verse 7, and it reads, if thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted, and if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door.
What lieth at the door?
Sin lieth at the door.
Sin lieth at the door. So who does Paul make this connection to? I'm going to go to 2 Thessalonians. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Verse 5. Go to verse 4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is the Most High. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. He's being revealed right now. Sin lieth at the door. Watch this. Verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Let me jump up to verse 2. That ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Hamashiach is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed. The son of perdition, Esau, Edom, Rome. So that goes back to Cain, that man of sin. Let's go back to that sin lieth at the door. If they'll not do us well, sin lieth at the door.
Shalak. Genesis chapter 4, verse 7. And it reads, if thou doest well, should thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And until thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him.
So they are being ruled over by the spiritual demon Satan. They're serving him by default. So Yahweh Shai was comparing the wicked sect of scribes, Sadducees, and Pharisees to serving their father Esau, which connects back to the devil, Cain. So Cain went in the ways of Satan, the spiritual demon Satan.
Come on. Genesis chapter 4, verse 8, and it reads, and Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew
him. I'm going to go to Genesis, showing you that he came back as Esau. Genesis 27. Let's let this train go by. Genesis 27, verse 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. He was rejected, just like Cain. So they have a unacceptable offering unto the Lord. They are sinful, abominable children. They're destructive. They're toxic. Verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. The international bankers in modern times, the global elites, they got the fatness of the earth. All the great lands, all the great islands, petroleum and oil reserves. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. When you read about the Maccabean Wars, the children are struggling together in the womb. The Maccabees rising up against the Greeks, and eventually revolts against the Romans. Fast forward to today, the civil rights movement fighting against the Romans. So this battle was prophesied, that the children struggled together in the womb in Genesis 25. Genesis 27. So now they had the dominion. They would come into power around 1453, a Renaissance or Renaissance rebirth of the Roman Empire. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father bless him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. What did Cain do to Abel? Slew his brother. Excuse me. Voice is drying out. So Esau is a reincarnation of Cain. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she went and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. So that murderer, that deceiver, that accuser, that slanderer, comes from the Greek diablos, devil, Esau, Edom, that man of sin. So sin lieth at the door. By default, they are Satan worshipers, heathen. Their gods are idols. Come on.
Genesis chapter 4. Once more, verse 8. And it reads, and Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. Verse 9. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
See how he just lied? Now let's go back to John 8 and 44. This man just killed his brother and then trying to play it off. Talking about he don't know where he's at. Nigga, you just killed him. What do you mean you don't know where he's at? So Yahushua is calling these wicked sect of scribes, Sadducees, and Pharisees being from their father, the devil. They're following Esau, which is the spiritual reincarnation of Cain. Go back, we're going to go to John 8 and 43.
John
8. 8 and 43.
John chapter 8, verse 43. And it reads, why do ye not understand my speech? Even because you cannot hear my word? Verse 44. Ye are of your father the devil.
Say what?
Ye are of your father the devil.
Beautiful.
And the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth.
See, remember from Genesis? Sin lieth at the door. So you had Israelites following sinful ways, working for mammon, being set up by the Romans, and King Herod was set up by Mark Antony and Julius Caesar. So Esau is their daddy. That's what we call sellouts. Your daddy is Esau Edom. That's what Yahushua was doing, rebuking them. Read that again, please, brother, back to 43.
John chapter 8, verse 43, and it reads, why do ye not understand my speech, even because you cannot hear my word? Verse 44, ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth.
See, so Cain could not receive instruction from the Most High. So he was rejected. His offerings are rejected. See that? See the comparison? So you got Israelites following Esau, the devil. And Esau is the spiritual reincarnation of Cain. So they are the minions of the spiritual demon Satan. See? So the word, which is the word made flesh, Yahweh Shai, has no place in the wicked Edomites, Romans, or the Israelites following them. That's why they couldn't receive it. Just like here in America, it shall come to pass, saith the Lord, that in all the land, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 3rd shall be left therein. Just like in America, you got Israelites following their daddy, Sleazy E, the spiritual representation of Cain, and the physical manifestation of the spiritual demon Satan, his minions. So they're in bed with him. Just like John Hyrcanus II compromised under the Romans, under Ptolemy. Come on.
Once more, he was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and a father of it. Verse 45, and because I tell you the truth, ye believe me not. Verse 46, which of you convince of me of sin? And if I say the truth, why do ye not believe me? Verse 47, and it reads, he that is of God heareth God's words.
Say what?
He that is of God heareth God's words.
So only the elect can receive this heavenly doctrine. Only the elect of the house of Israel. Let me get this one. Brother Zadok, Shalom, Barakatah. Brother Zadok, Amram, house of David. Hebrews 12 and 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. Just like Cain and his offering, their works are unacceptable. Their belief system of idolatry and fornication is unacceptable. They are outside of the Lord's temple, outside of his covenant, outside of his mercy seat. So they are rejected. Let me get this one. Brother King Eliah, Ezra's Maccabees. Genesis 3, verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. And I will see. So who is the woman seed? The daughter of Zion, Israel. Who is the serpent seed? The tabernacles of Edom, the borders of wickedness, pursuant to Malachi 1 and 4. Let me get this one. So the head of the serpent is going to be bruised by Yahweh Shai. Israel's heel was bruised, wounded. I'm going to break down both. Let me get this one first. Go to Romans 10, and we're going to read 17. Romans 10. One moment. tell you what, get Psalm 68, and we're going to start reading around verse. Nah, we're going to go to Psalm 68. Psalm 68 and 21. Psalm 68 and 21. So the head of the wicked is that serpent that's going to be bruised. Psalm 68 and 20. Yep, 21. Yeah. Yep.
Psalms chapter 68, verse 21. And it reads, "But God shall wound the head of his enemies, and the hairy scalp of such, and one as goeth on steel in his trespasses."
See that? So that you go to read it again, and then we're going to go to Romans 16 and 20. So the head of the wicked is going to be wounded. That's the Edomites. Edom, Rome. See that?
Psalm 68, verse 21, and it reads, "But God shall wound the head of his enemies, and the hairy scalp of such, and one as goeth on steel in his trespasses."
Beautiful. Now we're going to go to Romans 16 and 20. Romans 16 and 20. Now whose heel is being bruised? I'm going to go to Luke 4. The book of Luke, chapter 4, verse 17. "And there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet Isaiah. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it is written, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me." He's goddamn trained. So the heel of Israel was bruised. Luke 4 and 18. So this is Yahushua speaking. "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord." So this lines up with what? Isaiah 61. Those that are bruised, the Israelites. I'm going to go back to Genesis 3 and 15. Oh, what you got? Genesis 3, verse 15. "And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel." So the Israelites' heel was bruised, and the head of the serpent, the wicked, the Edomites, is going to receive a deadly wound. Now Romans 16 and 20, please.
Romans chapter 16, verse 20, and it reads, "And the God of peace shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly."
One more time, a little louder.
Romans chapter 16, verse 20, and it reads, "And the God of peace shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly. The grace of our Lord Yahweh Babashem Yahushua be with you."
Beautiful. It's going to wound the head of Satan shortly. See? So the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has a short time. That devil is talking about the Edomites. their throne, their rulership, the prince of this world. Matter of fact, bro, I'm going to read this. Hold what you got. I'm going to need you to read it again. Let me go here first. See, John 14, verse 31. John 14, verse 30. Hereafter, I will not talk much with you, for the prince of this world cometh and have nothing in me. Cain was rejected. Esau, Edom is rejected. Have nothing in me. So the spirit of the Lord's mouth, or the word, has no place in the Edomites. Let me read that again. John 14 and 30. Hereafter, I will not talk much with you, for the prince of this world cometh and have nothing in me. Let me go. He that loveth me keepeth, he that loveth me not keepeth not my sayings, and the word which ye hear is not mine, but the Father's which sent me. For the man of sin, the son of perdition, hate the word, hate prophecy, the prince of the power of this world. Now I'm going to go to John 12 and 30. Yahushua answered and said, this voice came not of me, but for your sake. Now is the judgment of this world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out. So Edom, Rome, has to be taken down, judged, defeated, in order to usher in the birth and the deliverance of the nation of Jacob. That's the return of the Messiah, the prince of this world, the devil, the king of Babylon, Esau.
Romans chapter 16, verse 20, and it reads, and the God of peace shall bruise Satan under your feet short. The grace of the Lord Yahweh Babashem Yahushua be with you.
Who is the God of peace? Who is that? For those of you Old Testament only Israelites, who is the God of peace? Let's see. Genesis 49. Genesis chapter 49, verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? So Judah is being roused up by the Spirit of the Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, the Comforter. Verse 10, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. That's the Prince of Peace, the God of peace. You Old Testament old heads that don't know the Bible. Shiloh, the God of peace. Shiloh in Hebrew, Shalom. That's Yahushua. Let me just read it one more. I'm going to read this verse. Genesis 49, verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. That's when we get delivered. When the wicked Esau, Edom, pursuant to Isaiah 63 and Isaiah 34, Edom, the prince of the power of this world, gets destroyed. Let's go back to that Romans 16 and 20.
Once more, Romans chapter 16, verse 20, and it reads, and the God of peace shall bruise Satan under your feet short. The grace of our Lord Yahweh Babashem Yahushua be with you.
Come on.
Verse 21, and it reads, Timothy, my work fellow, and Lucius, and Jason, and Sosa, at my kinsmen, salute you. 22, verse 22, and it reads, I, Tertius, who wrote this epistle, salute you in the Lord, Yahweh Babashem Yahushua.
Okay, transition from there. I'm going to get ready to close out. Let's go to Psalms 27. Psalms 27. We'll read from the top. We're going to close out around 6. Let's close out around 7. Psalms 27. 27. So we're getting close. We read in Romans 16 and 20. He's going to wound the head of Satan shortly. Well, one of the definitions of Satan is what? Human adversary. Human adversary. Or adversary of the Most High. Let me prove that. I'm going to go to, what is it at? I think it's Matthew. One moment. Right here. Matthew 12, verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So the devil is come down unto you. That's his kingdom, the prince of the power of this world. And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? So Satan against Satan, oppressor against oppressor, lines up with Isaiah 19 and 2. It's talking about the domain of rulership, the age or the eon of the revised Roman Empire, the beast, Rome. Let me read this again, then we'll go back to you. Matthew 12, verse 26. And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? See, it was talking about the eon or the age under the revised Roman Empire, America, the European Union, NATO, which is the beast, Rome, the adversary of the Most High. Satan means human adversary. Now, do we have a spiritual demon, Satan? Yes, we do. But he also has physical laborers. He has a workforce, minions. Why you think they made that cartoon, Minions? Talking about the Edomites, or workers of iniquity. We're going to close out here. Psalms 27.
Psalms chapter 27, verse 1, and it reads, the Lord Yahweh is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord Yahweh is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Verse 2, when the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell.
They what?
Stumbled and fell.
Come on.
Verse 3, and it reads, though an host should encamp against me, my heart should not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident.
You read it so well, I'm going to ask you to read it again. That sounded good.
Psalms chapter 27, verse 3. And it reads, though an host should encamp against me, my heart should not fear. Salah. Though war should rise against me, in this I will be confident.
When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Happened back then under King David, and it gets reincarnated. Everything repeats itself. The circle of life, regeneration, reincarnation. Everything comes back. Our spirits are eternal. Let's read that heavy scripture again.
Psalms chapter 27, once more, verse 3. And it reads, though an host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident. Verse 4, and it reads, one thing have I desired of the Lord Yahweh, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord Yahweh.
That I may what?
Dwell in the house of the Lord Yahweh.
So when you come into this truth, you're supping with Yahweh Shai. We're eating with him from the Lord's table. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Thou preparest a table for me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. So we're not afraid of what the enemy shall do. When he comes in like a flood, we're not afraid of martial law, Gurkha troops, UN troops. We're not afraid of what the wicked shall do. Who are we that shall fear a man that shall die, pursuant to Isaiah 51? We don't fear the enemy, the wicked. Come on.
Psalms chapter 27, once more, verse 4. And it reads, one thing have I desired of the Lord Yahweh, that will I seek out, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord Yahweh all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord Yahweh, and to inquire in his temple.
So this truth, this doctrine, is a safe house, leads to the kingdom of heaven. So if we're dwelling with the Most High in his sanctuary, if we're waking up to this gospel, we are abiding in the temple of the Lord. We're in the king's courts. Come on.
Psalms chapter 27, verse 5. And it reads, for in the time of trouble, he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He should set me up upon a rock. Verse 6, and it reads, and now shall my head be lifted up above my enemies round about. Therefore will I offer in his tabernacle sacrifices of joy.
So the elect are going to be caught up into the chariots of the Lord, and kings are going to be crowned in the great fathership. Yahweh Shai is personally going to crown the sons of Jacob to be caught up and to dwell in the house of the Lord forever, which starts with the great fathership, being caught up into the air to meet Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, the Son of the Most High, the Son of Man. We're going to be taken up into his chambers and lock the doors about us and shut the doors until the indignation of the Lord be overpassed. Come into the chambers of the Lord. Come on.
I will sing, yea, I will sing praises unto the Lord Yahweh. Verse 7, and it reads, hear, O Lord Yahweh, when I cry with my voice, have mercy also upon me and answer me.
The victory song is going to be sung. It starts with the sweet melody of this truth, melodies of deliverance, songs of praise, celebratory songs, being redeemed, delivered from the hands of our enemies, the ancient victory songs of Moses. Come on.
Verse 8, and it reads, when thou saidst, seek ye my face, my heart said until thee, thou face, Lord Yahweh, will I seek? Verse 9, and it reads, hide not thy face far from me. Thou hast been my help, leave me not, neither forsake me.
So the face of the Most High is his shining image, this glorious gospel, this doctrine. That's how the elect are going to shine. So the Lord is having mercy on Jacob and yet choosing Israel by shining the light of this glorious gospel unto the hopeful elect. The tabernacles of David is being raised up. We're going to go ahead and close it there. Hopefully, this has been edifying. The devil has a short time. And Lord willing, we got next. All praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, or Kwakadash. Double honor and respect to the elders and apostles and great millstone. Much respect and honor to the brothers doing the work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and freedom to do so. Pushing this gospel throughout the four corners of the earth. Salutations to the hopeful elect that are scattered abroad. We almost out of here. And we're going to be caught up into the chariots of the Lord, the secret chambers of the King. Lord willing, we're amongst that group of the saints to be delivered out of the daughter of Babylon under the clutches of the serpent, the wicked Edom. If I had wings, I would fly. So the chariots of the Lord is going to take his elect up into the clouds. Kwam Yasharallah, Kwam Yasharallah, Kwam Yasharallah, and abide Babal. We got next, Lord willing. Barakatam, Shalom.